guys, Bobgar here and welcome to $10 Deck. This week we're looking at a $10 mono white Knights deck. So it's a Knights tribal. I'm trying to go through and do one $10 deck of every color, and this week I decided to go with white. I thought about doing Soul Sisters, but that seemed a little bit like the easy way out, and I thought Knights might be a little bit more interesting and more exciting. And a lot of the really good Knights are actually pretty inexpensive, at least on Magic Online. So we're going to go through this deck. The biggest card to note is on the front here, Knight Exemplar. It's our only Knight Lord in the deck. Other Knight creatures you control get +1/+1 and indestructible. We'll go over her later. First, let's start at the bottom. Let's talk about the 1-drop creatures in the deck. Thraben Inspector is the only non-knight creature in the deck. He's a human soldier, he's a 1/2, and when he comes into play, you get a clue token. So I really put him in there mostly to give us a little bit of reach into the late game. I just needed something early game to do something. Basically, the deck is very light on 1-drops, and I felt like he was our best option. The deck's not super mana heavy, but it's mana heavy enough to get him out and usually use the clue token from him, I find. For Student of Warfare as well, Student of Warfare is a really good 1-drop human knight. He can level up as time goes on, so you put him in for 1 as a 1/1, and by turn 2, if you spend both of your turn 2 mana into him, he'll be a 3/3 first strike, which is very, very strong. It is a little bit all in, so a lot of cases you don't want to do that because you can just be lightning bolted or whatever, but you know, for 3 mana, he's a 3/3 first strike, and then late game, if you get a little flooded or your opponent's killing all your other threats, you can dump all your mana into him and make him a 4/4 double strike. And then the 2-drop Knights. 2-drop is kind of the very solid point for Knights. It's where most of the Knights live. Most Knights are basically 2 mana 2/2s. We'll start with Knight of the White Orchid. First strike, whenever Knight of the White Orchid enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more land than you may search your library for a plains card and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So a lot of times you want to actually play this guy turn 3 so that you can get the extra land, especially if you are on the draw. So you know, you play a land turn 2, you play one of these other 2 Knights, you don't play a land turn 3, you play this guy first, you get a free land off of him, and then you can just play another land from hand if you have one. He also just helps you make sure that you hit your mana drops and don't get too far behind your opponent. Knight of the Meadowgrain, 2/2 first strike, lifelink. Lifelink is very, very important, especially in kind of aggressive mirrors. A lot of times this ends up winning you the game. I find it's often a lightning rod for removal as well, but that's alright. It's only a lightning rod for removal because it's so good in so many matchups. And then finally, 2 Knight of the Holy Nimbus. This is a really weird one. It's from Time Spiral. It has flanking, which is a keyword not a lot of people know. It's whenever it becomes blocked, the blocking creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. That's for each creature that blocks it too. So if it gets blocked by 2 creatures, each of those creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. And the interesting thing it has is, if it would die, you get to regenerate it unless your opponent pays 2 mana to disable the ability. So he's really nice because he survives wraths and things like that. He's a little bit hard to target remove. I mean, if you want to lightning bolt him down, you actually need 3 mana. So he's just very resilient and strong, and a very good 2-drop for us to have. Not quite as much utility as the other 2, that's why I'm only owning 2 of him, but still, he's a guy I like a lot. And then the 3-drop Knights. And the 3-drops is where it gets really, really sweet. We have 3 Silverblade Paladins, so it's just a 2/2, but when it comes into play, or when another creature comes into play, it can soulbound to them, and if it's soulbound to another creature, both him and the other creature get double strike. Obviously, most of these guys already have first strike, so it's not a huge advantage over first strike, but being able to deal double damage really helps a lot. It means if they have a huge threat on the field and they want to stop your damage, they're probably going to have to give up that threat to do it, because you're going to be swinging for 4+ damage with him. And it also means if they can't block him or the other person he's soulbound with and they can't remove them, you're going to get in for a massive amount of damage. For Knight Exemplar, Knight Exemplar is kind of the reason that we have a Knight's Tribal to begin with. It's the only Lord in the deck. It's a 2/2 first strike, and it gives other Knight creatures you control +1/+1 and indestructible. This is very strong just by itself. It is a lightning rod for removal, and it can be removed pretty easily. But if your opponent can't do that, you can kind of swing in and block freely with your whole team. And then obviously if you get 2 of them onto the field, you end up with all of your creatures having indestructible, except for, I guess, technically the Thraben Inspectors. But basically every creature has indestructible at that point. And obviously Opponents can get around with this with exile effects. Path to Exile is one of the most popular removals in the format, but if they're running on Terminates and Lightning Bolts and Fatal Pushes, having two Knights Exemplar out pretty much brick walls all of your opponent's removals. And then finally, one Mirran Crusader, double strike, built in, protection from black and from green. I think I would run this guy over Silverblade Paladin, at least like 2 or 3 of this guy and 1 or 2 of the Silverblade Paladin. We just couldn't make it work in our budget. He's not super expensive though, so if you want to up the budget of your deck a little bit, I would up the Mirran Crusader count and down the Silverblade Paladin count just slightly. But I think both are very strong. And then we move on to the 4-drop in the deck, the Hero Cometh. We are running 3 Hero of Bladehold. Hero of Bladehold is an amazing creature. It can just win games on its own. Even if your opponent's been removing all your guys, when you drop this person on turn 4, if you manage to untap with it, you get to string in with a 3/4 that creates 2 1/1s that attack as 2 1s on the turn that you attack, which is super, super powerful. And obviously it pumps up the rest of your team, so it's an Anthem on a stick. Just very, very strong, and I find that this card just wins you games in this deck. And the last thing before we get to the lands, the last actual spells in the deck, we have 2 Bonesplitters. Bonesplitter is a nice 1-drop. The deck is kind of low on 1-drops, and I find it combos really well with First Strike, and the fact that it's an equipment means we don't just lose it like we would with a enchantment. Gives your creature +2/+0. It only costs 1 to equip, so basically for 2 mana you give a creature +2/+0, and then if they kill that creature you spend another mana and give a different creature +2/+0. So super, super strong. I really like Bonesplitters a lot. Honor the Pure, it can get out of hand very quickly. It gives all your white creatures +1/+1, and all your creatures are white. So it's just an Anthem effect for 2 mana. Super efficient, and it can get your team out of bolt range pretty quickly. And last but not least, Journey to Nowhere. Obviously in a higher budget deck, these would be Path to Exiles, but we just don't have that kind of money. We're spending it on all our super cool knights instead. I mean, 4 Path to Exile is only about $4 or $5, but again, our budget is getting spent in other places, so we have to use this as a backup removal. It just comes into play, exiles a creature. The really only disadvantage is its sorcery speed and its 2 mana, and those are pretty big disadvantages as compared to Path to Exile or some other effects, but I like it a lot. I think it's really strong in the deck. And then the land base is pretty straightforward, 19 planes, and then 2 Ghost Quarters main board. This is just because we could fit them in our budget. They're not super expensive. We don't need 19 planes. I mean, we do have a lot of double and white, but not so much that we can't afford to run a couple non-planes. And Ghost Quarters just gives us a leg up in a couple matchups, especially Tron and big mana decks, and then also Valakut combo decks. Gives us more of a fighting chance than we would have otherwise. So I think 2 of them is about the right number. I actually wouldn't go much higher than that, even if we had budget to go much higher than that. And then the sideboard, 1 more Ghost Quarters in the sideboard, 2 Tormod Crypt. I think that's in pretty much every deck just to deal with the graveyards. So for Brave the Elements, there probably could be good argument for running at least some of these main board. They're very powerful. They basically give your whole team protection from a color of your choice for 1 mana. But yeah, relegated to the sideboard just because I wanted to keep the deck aggressive. 3 Fragmentize, deal with artifacts and enchantments with converted mana cost 4 or less. Again, this is one we've seen run in almost everything. 2 Oblivion Ring, this just answers everything. If we know our opponent has a lot of planeswalkers or artifacts or things that we just don't have a toolkit to deal with, we bring in the 2 Oblivion Rings to help us deal with that toolkit. 2 Paladin en-Vec. Paladin en-Vec is 3 mana for a 2/2 first strike protection from black and from red. Generally worse than Silverblade Paladin and Mirran Crusader, but if you really need the protection from red, obviously he's super, super good. So he comes in matchups where protection from red is relevant, and protection from black sometimes too. And then 1 Citadel Siege, just kind of the spicy inclusion. This is a card I love, but it's not great. It's 4 mana, which is a little expensive, but I like the fact that it has 2 modes. If we are in a position where our knights just aren't big enough, we can set it on cons and make them bigger every combat. And if we're in a situation where our opponent is just beating us down, we can put it on dragons and just tap down his biggest threat every time. And even if he gets a bigger threat out, we can retarget it to that since it chooses every time it's the beginning of his combat step. So that's the deck. I'm going to go jump into some matches. I hope you enjoyed the deck tech. I hope you enjoyed the games. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. What is up, guys? Bobgar here, playing some $10 White Knights. We're going to see how this goes. Well, I like having the double Lord. Otherwise, doesn't look great, but I think I'll keep on the draw. I And turn 3 Knight for value if I want to. Seems decent. Can't do it turn 2, unfortunately. Hopefully I'll draw their turn 1 and 2 plays. He's starting off quick with Serum Visions. Hopefully it's not hardcore control, because I don't know if I can beat that. Well, more land, a little flooded. That's alright. Land go. It's my shiny, unhinged foil. I'm assuming he'll counter whatever I play here. Wow, more land. That is unfortunate. Honor the Pure. I'm expecting Remand or Mana Leak. Nope, nothing. Alright, fair enough. Okay. I wonder what deck he is. No plays yet. Alright. More lands. Well, I'm gonna do Knight here, even though I don't really need the lands from him, but why not? Lightning Helix is him, sure. Yep. I'll still get a land into play. And then play a land. And then pass turn because, yeah, yikes. This is pretty rough. I really need to draw creatures here. Nope, more land. I think I'm actually not going to draw my Knight here. One, because my opponent has a ton of mana up to just kill whatever I play. And two, because if I wait a turn, I might just have a Cryptic Command up too, I guess. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Knight of the White Orchid. Cryptic Command. That's my assumption. Yep. Alright, we have lost this game. We were just so flooded though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, we run 21 lands, so this is pretty crazy. Okay. Elspeth? Inferno Titan, sure. Well, I get to resolve both of my knights. And put down a Bonesplitter, I guess. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If he has Path to Exile, I'm boned. If he doesn't have Path to Exile, my guys are indestructible, so just depends. He does have Path to Exile, sure. Get a land. This deck is not supposed to get like half its lands by turn. Okay, and now you can just kill my guy. I think I just scoop here. This is just bad beats. I mean, there's not much you can say to this. You're not going to draw that many lands most of the time, so he's red. Well, that means we get to bring in this protection from red guy. Anything else that's relevant? Could bring in Brave the Elements, at least a few of them. Let's go down the two Silverblades. Let's go down the Bonesplitters, because I am going to need guys and protection for guys. What else? A lot of these would have been pretty good. Journey to Nowhere didn't feel very good just because he didn't play many creatures, but the creatures he did play were huge. Let's go down one and go up another Brave. I think that's probably fine. I don't want to go down all of them because I do want to have them when he gets to Inferno Titan. But, well, not much you can say that game other than that was just really, really bad beats. Like, we drew half our land in our first 15 cards or something like that. This is a really bad hand, but it has two really good threats in it. We just... Ghost Quarters is a really unfortunate draw here. I'm going to keep it and try it. But I'm not... My hope's not too high. I really need a second white source rather, to make this work. I have the opposite problem as last time. I have almost no lands this time. Not hitting my 1-drops well. Not helping me. I haven't gotten any of my 8... I guess 10 1-drops. Oh, I guess I lowered it, and now I do have. Well, now I do have Brave the Elements, which doesn't really count as a 1-drop because it's to protect your board. But okay, he takes 2, 3 Serum Visions, sure. And I guess I'll play Ghost Quarters. There's some question of whether it's worth it to play Ghost Quarters there or not. Okay, well, I got a land. I think yeah, I'll run out White of the Knight of the White Orchid here. If he wants to counter / kill that, I'm pretty much okay with it. He doesn't. We probably lightning bolts it or something. Okay, breaks land. Lightning Helix. Yep, that's fine. Not super relevant to me. Plays land, he passes, short. I'm gonna play Thraben Inspector. If he wants to counter that, that's okay. No counter, I'll get a token. I'm gonna break it immediately in case I get land. No land. Alright, Honor the Pure. Not terrible either. Okay. One more land would be pretty nice just because I could then brave the elements if I need to. I guess if I don't get a land here, I can Knight for a land. Actually, I should Knight for a land anyway, probably. If he has counterspell, it doesn't go well for me, but otherwise it's fine. Yep. Let's get one of these bad boys. Play land, and then I can Honor the Pure and still keep up Brave the Elements. Okay. He might just have Sweeper, which would be a little unfortunate, but if not, I'll probably protect them. I don't know 100% if it's worth it to protect them, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sure. Serum Visions. Wrath of God. Well, protection doesn't beat Wrath of God, so I let that go. Okay. Probably has Path next turn, but we'll find out. I think I go with... I think Hero is just the most powerful here, so I think I go with Hero of Bladehold, and then I can hold up Brave the Elements again. Okay. Goes to his end step, he passes. Goes to my turn. Draw another land. Well, might as well play the land. I'll play Knight Templar. Okay. I mean, if he has counterspell for this, it kind of sucks. Protection from white. Okay. Okay, I do 11 damage here, which is not bad. Okay, he goes to 5. He very well might just have another Wrath, but I mean, I do have a little bit. I do have another creature in my hand to refill at least. So he has Lightning Helix on Knight, double removal on Hero, maybe. Nothing yet. I draw. Okay, that's not what I needed. He better use it now if he has it. Snapcaster Path. Sure. Seems good. Path, sure. He's down to 3 cards in hand. It's crazy how much more land I've drawn than him, but that's the way it goes sometimes, I guess. Okay, I mean, it's good beats for him, right? It's not too much you can say. Get in there. He can only go to 6 if he wants to. Yeah, he definitely wants to block there. That's my thought too. Trade a token for a Snapcaster. Seems fine. Okay. It's tough to decide whether I want to play the Knight or not. I'm going to bet on him not having a sweeper, so I'm going to play it down, but it could be wrong. I think if he doesn't have a sweeper, playing it down is 100% the right thing to do. But he very well might Inferno Titan and kill it, which will suck, but then I'll get to swing back in with the soldier after I Journey to Nowhere it. So it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. Or maybe he just has double bolt here. That would also be pretty good. It's possible he has nothing. Seems unlikely. Okay, he passes. I draw. Draw something good, please. No, it's not so bad. I'll play a Thraben Inspector. He lets it resolve. I'll break a clue. I'll play an Honor the Pure. If he has lightning bolts, he's going to want to use them now. Okay, Cryptic or something? Cryptic. Counterspell, tap creatures. Sure. Pass turn. Wrath of God is pretty good here. Inferno Titan's not terrible, but it's not actually that good because I'll just Journey to Nowhere it and swing for 4. But I don't know. 1, 2, Snapcaster on what? Lightning Helix, Path on something. Wrath, sure. Lightning Snapcaster on Wrath. It's decent. I mean, I guess it's about as good as Wrath would have been. Doesn't really make progress for him. Sitting on a Journey to Nowhere in hand. I don't know what he's thinking about. You either cast it or you don't. I'm not quite understanding this. Okay, he figured it out. Okay, seems good. Well, I am top decking, but I don't have many lanes left in my library. How can I get him 6? Oh, I'm gonna regret having this Ghost Quarter, I guess. 4, 5. I can only get him to 5. That sucks. Oh, 6. No, I can't get him to 6. If I could get him to 7, he'd be... Well, 4/4 is still good. He has... 3, 6... Elspeth, sure. Well, he's gonna be able to chump me forever, so that's a little scary. Oh yeah, he creates tokens. So they say I guess he can kill it with the destroy all creatures with power toughness greater than 4. This might be game. This actually ended up at least being a close one. Need to draw well if I want to get out of this. Upkeep. All right, let me go. Yeah, no, I'm flooded every game. Yeah, again, I'm half my lands with about a third of my deck. Oh, I swing in. I don't think I give up yet because if I get, I mean, I should have. I don't know why I didn't. I should have leveled him before swinging in, but presumably he's gonna chump here, unless he wants to go to 1, which I don't think he really wants to go to. Because if I draw the Brave the Elements, I will be able to swing past his soldiers. Okay, chumps. Took him a long time to decide to chump. I'm not quite sure why. Okay, level him up. Oh, I didn't play land for turn, that's fine. Pass. Maybe I should have Ghost Quartered him at some point. More tokens, sure. It's in for 2. Short. I stand by the fact that Brave the Elements probably just wins it for me. Maybe not, because I guess he could have a removal and be waiting to use it until I Brave the Elements. But I think still that's my best bet, is that if I draw Brave the Elements, then I will... Okay... Thraben Inspector, maybe he has a counter for it. No, he lets it resolve. That's the other thing, he probably just has counters in hand. He only has 2 cards though, he's not doesn't have a lot. Okay, break. I probably should use Ghost Quarters for that, but it doesn't really matter. Another land, alright. Yeah, let's swing in. Swing at face. Chumps, sure. For Restoration Angel. I guess he just doesn't bother using its ability basically. It gives me a target for Journey next turn. And I guess it gives him a serious clock, which is a little nice. Come on, Brave the Elements. If I can draw half my land in the top half of my deck, I can draw one of my, I think I put in 3. Maybe, I guess I should have put in 4. I didn't realize. 4 probably would have been worth it. Okay, more guys. Goes on the attack. Sure. Block here. Seems good. Okay. Nope, just more land. Just more land. Journey to nowhere. Do it on the Angel. Boop. Okay. Not gonna bother attacking with Thraben. I'm just going to attack him with my Knight. He does have a path now. Sure. There's not too many lands left in my deck on the bright side. Draws, then discards a card. Sure. Wow, I don't know why he doesn't -7 there. -7ing just wins the game. No, maybe he knows something I don't know. I do think at this point there's just no way for me to win, unfortunately. This doesn't actually feel like a bad matchup. I feel like maybe I'm running too many lands, but I feel like I just drew too many lands, so maybe 21 is too many. Maybe it just feels like too many because this matchup ended up being a little grindy. And I drew another land. Alright, I'll scoop to that. Good games, opponents. We are 0-1. That is a sad way to start. Alright, well, I'm going to do another one right now, and hopefully I won't lose. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Hey guys, Bobgar here. I just really wanted to quickly say, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you enjoy my content in general and would like to see more of it, subscribe. I'll be coming out with more content in the future. And please leave me comments and let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, both in terms of production and in terms of my play and my deck building and all that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.